Peace, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to the show. The title of today's show is Candace Owens is Christian Zionism versus Pan-Africanism. Podcast expose the history. I probably wrote that wrong, but we out here fishing, people. I'm casting a hook out to see who will bite on the subject. It's my new thing. Like I said, I'm trying to end my last conversation. 8 o'clock tonight, I will be dealing with it. But the transition, I feel like I should be working the transition now. When the other end, I will transition into this more political stuff because I am a very political person. Nobody wants to give me credit, but I'm going to take my credit by my actions. So let's listen to Candace speak, and then we'll address what she's speaking on.
It's one of the craziest things that knowing the history of the creation of the state of Israel is enough to warrant someone being labeled an anti-Semite. I will be clear.
Someone which most people don't know the history of how the state of Israel came about. It's all political. So we're going to keep listening and deal with this political aspect.
However, that in my personal experience, I very much believe there is a Zionist mafia operating because there always has been one.
A Zionist mafia, who agree? Every religion and everything has this mafioso in it. Every one of them. If you don't know, you lack the knowledge. But everything has mafioso in it. The Roman Catholic Church got the Italian mafia. The Jews got the Jewish mafia. Well, who you think Lansky and all these people were in New York, the mafia? Who do you think these people were? So, but let's keep going.
I think Michael Jackson alluded to that before his death. Kanye West alluded to that after his gym trainer, Harley Pasternak, threatened to drug him and take his children away. What kind of gym trainer writes that kind of stuff? And I have to tell you guys, and this is not even a joke, one of the reasons among many that I was fired from the Daily Wire, a specific reason that they listed was I suggested that there could be a Jewish mafia in Hollywood in my coverage of Michael Jackson's death.
It could be a Jewish mafia, but I would agree that there is a Jewish mafia out there. It won't even come out my mouth because it sounds funny, but like I said, every religion has a mafioso tied to it. The LGBTQIA has a mafia to it. The transgenders that's running around killing babies and doing all the stuff that they doing, everybody got their own. I don't even know the term for it. It's so new and I haven't talked about it. It's terminology that won't come out. But as I keep working on it, the terminology will come out.
It's deemed an anti-Semitic suggestion, the mere suggestion that there could be a Zionist mafia. But actually,
hold up. Anti-Semitic statement because you're talking about Zionists, that's political stuff. Now, it may be some anti-Semitic terminology used to it because you got Semitics in Zionism, but at the end of the day, Zionism is not Semitic. It's not nothing. It's a political philosophy, just like Pan-Africanists. Pan-Africanists are those that believe that Africa is for the melanated man in America. Am I right or am I wrong? Which you got Booker T. Washington. You have Marcus Garvey who followed Booker T. Washington. You got all kind of people fighting for that political terminology. You done had Polite, want to be RBG. You done had SETI, want to be RBG. You got a lot of people in the community or my ex-community, the ex-conscious community, the Black conscious community that I used to deal with, who wanted to be Pan-Africanists so they can deal with the politics of it. Bang on the beast and all that stuff that Sarah Soon said he used to spit. And y'all know they did have that famous debate where they was talking about Malachi Z. York and the misinterpretation of Sodom and all of that stuff. So I've been around this stuff. I know about it, but we're going to keep listening.
Kind of a simple fact of history that the Jewish mafia started Hollywood. I mean, we covered various aspects of that in our reading of Hollywood Babylon in our book club. But beyond that, Irgun, the underground Jewish terrorist organization that were operating in Palestine, ruthlessly murdering people to ensure.
So let's deal with it. Hollywood is Hollywood, which is the olive branch, or the holly branch. A wizard woman, Hollywood. That is what they talking about. And you had people in there doing weird stuff. You ever seen Clint Eastwood kiss an underage girl and this and that and the stuff that went on? And the trans, the females that are males and the males that are females and stuff in Hollywood. You ever heard of that stuff? Who you think controlling it?
Israel became a nation. They just believed violence was the means to get what they wanted. And when I say murdering people, I don't want you to think that I'm just referring to Palestinians. I mean, British people, whoever and whatever was in their way. They were behind the infamous King David hotel bombing. They loved to use bombs in Jerusalem in 1946. To be clear, the hotel at that time was operating as the British military headquarters in Jerusalem. They just bombed it, killing 91 people in one go in 1946.
If you ask me, it sounds like when we was going through segregation and they wanted to keep us segregated. Martin Luther King bombing the Alabama churches. Even Little Rock. Little Rock had a young girl trying to go into the school and they didn't care for that. They had to bring the military. We ain't even gonna start talking about JFK and all the stuff that's going on, like with his assassination and everything else that went along. All this stuff is politics, people. And I have been able to get to this politics because I had to deal with my own personal politics with Bambaataa and his pederasty and the Pan-Africans or the Black conscious community asking a righteous man like me to help. And I went and helped. And then I got attacked because they got their own little mafia. Everybody got a mafia that goes with their organization. You need offense and defense if you have an organization. You got to be able to protect yourself and you got to be able to touch up some people if you have to touch them up. I learned that in life. So when I deal with people, I know that I need to be able to defend myself and if have to, go touch them up if they come messing with me. These are things you need to learn. And in this Zionist conversation that I'm jumping into, we're going to learn it.
And yes, that gang came to America and manifested here. The Zionist gang became known as the Stern Gang. And they kept up political lobbying and bombings, which made its way all the way to the White House. Check out this article about what they did to President Harry S. Truman. This is a headline in the New York Times. It reads, "Letter bombs mailed to Truman." And it tells us that the so-called Stern Gang of the Zionist terrorists tried to assassinate President Truman by letter bomb in 1947, according to a new biography written by Mr. Truman's daughter. Miss Margaret Truman Daniel writes, quote, "A number of cream-colored envelopes about 8 by 6 inches arrived in the White House, addressed to the president and various members of the staff. They were found to contain powdered gelignite, a pencil battery, and a detonator rigged to explode the gelignite, when the envelope was opened. But when the White House mailroom alert to the danger of postal bombs discovered the letters and had them defused by the Secret Service bomb experts, Mrs. Daniel writes in her book.
So you see this? I feel the same way dealing with this Africa Bambaataa stuff. Ain't no bombs been sent to my house, but they have tried to hurt me spiritually, physically, everything. I tell my family, if you a Davis and you got the Davis last name, your uncle is at war. Sisters and brothers, protect yourself and protect your children, because these people hate the fact that I have jumped on this stuff. Protect them. I know I'm going to protect mine.
Yes, Truman. Now, members of this Zionist gang, which began in Mandatory Palestine, were also Canaanites. Literally. It's one of the craziest things that no.
Do y'all know who the Canaanites are? They're Hamitic. But see, never forget, my position as an Israelite Christian is that I am an Israelite and I am a melanated person. So I ain't even into that politics. Just know when they say they're for Israel, they're not for this melanated Israelite. That's where Harry Rosenberg come in and the polite debate and all that stuff that I was participating in. Because even the Black conscious community, which is Kemetic people, which are children of Ham, just like the Canaanites, hate the fact that I say I'm Israel. And they try to do everything to try to make me not Israel. I debated a brother over there, and he wanted to debate if I was a Jew when I said I was Israel. But Sadnetta, being the ignorant man that he is, allowed him to keep going with that argument, thinking they was going to pull me into the argument. I said, man, look, you're off subject. I said I was Israel. I didn't come here to argue if I was a Jew. A Jew is one tribe of a nation. I am a nationalist. I am not a tribalist. But let's keep going.
The history of the creation of the state of Israel is enough to warrant someone being labeled an anti-Semite. This is stuff that is just freely available for you to look up on even Wikipedia. Okay, take a look at this in Wikipedia entry referred to as Cananism. It reads, it tells you that Ergun was a Jewish Canaanite. Cananism was a cultural and ideological movement founded in 1939, reaching its peak among the Jews of Mandatory Palestine during the 1940s. It had a significant effect on the course of Israeli art, literature, and spiritual and political thought. Its adherents were called Canaanites, okay? And then it tells you that most of its members were former members of Ergun or Lehi. Look at the art that they created on the right side of this Wikipedia entry.
Now, a question for me, being a partial preterist, is did this happen before 70 AD or after 70 AD? Because that would be what I would like to argue and debate and talk about. Because a lot of people never do the chronology before 70 AD or after 70 AD. But being a partial preterist, I do. These things matter to me, which they should matter to you too. But if you don't know these things, it don't matter to you. That's why it needs to be introduced to you. Now, what preterists do you know willing to introduce this type of conversation? I know a partial preterist that's down with introducing this type of conversation, because I'm down for the arguments other people don't want to have.
Says Nimrod. Okay. A visual emblem of the Canaanite idea. So they were creating art based on their beliefs. And who were the Canaanites in the Bible, guys? Baal worshippers. Okay.
Baal worshippers. Uh-oh. See, religious is in this, but it's not in this. Religion has nothing to do with Zionists. It's politics. But religious people are very political too. They left or they right. Maybe you understand what left and right mean. Because Jesus do say somebody going to be on his left and somebody going to be on his right. That's a political statement. And if you're a Christian and you follow Jesus, you will go to, what's that, Matthew 25 or whatever, and read that.
Just a fact. It's right in your face. You wonder what's going on. Why are they doing what they're doing in Gaza and Palestine? Yeah, you got to go back into the history. Anyways, the point I'm making here is Irgun was a Jewish Canaanite gang. No one denies that it was a terrorist group that killed a lot of people. One of its members was a man named Benjamin Emanuel. That is the father of Ari Emanuel, one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful man in Hollywood. His brother is Rahm Emanuel, one of the most powerful.
Chicago, Rahm Emanuel. That's Barack Obama dude. Oh man, how many times have I seen him at New City Y? His children went to the New City Y on the north side. Man, woo, it's touching home. It's touching home because I'm from Chicago. Believe me, if Chicago politics is in it, woo, baby, it's touching home.
Names in the Democratic Party in politics. He was the director of public affairs under Bill Clinton before he became his senior advisor. Ron was also the chief of staff under Barack Obama, and then he became the mayor of Chicago. A lot of corruption in Chicago, as we know. Their father was literally in a Jewish terrorist gang.
So, quick question. Do you know how this tie in to Africa Bambaataa and all the pederasty and stuff that I've been fighting? See, Hebrew Israelites never wanted to help me fight, but I knew what I was fighting. I understood what I was seeing, and I'm tired of it because I ain't begging no man to debate me on homosexuality. Because I've been told by people, never argue and fight with a homosexual because people think you homosexual. But it don't matter what people think. What matters is the fact. Because if I debate anybody from the LGBTQIA or same gender community, people know what side I'm on. So I never run from any fights, y'all.
So I bring up that point only to underscore the absurdity of people trying to suggest that it's anti-Semitism to note the plausibility of Jewish gangs that are affiliated with Hollywood and within politics, especially when so many entertainers have died in mysterious circumstances. How many celebrities can drown in a bathtub before it gets weird? How many people do you know that have just drowned in bathtubs in general? Okay.
So now this ties you back into the Clyde Davis thing. What was his nationality? Did he have people go drown people up in the Whitney Houston and stuff? All this stuff, this is stuff that I've been warned with, people. Because when you deal with one devil, remember, devils are legions. It's a whole gang of them. And though you fighting this one here, it's a whole nother gang right around the corner. If you down with gang banging, you understand. This my block. We one gang, but soon you cross the avenue, there's another gang right over there ready to go to war with you. It ties into the black community too. Though I don't claim to be black, I'm an Israelite, but hey, we'll use the terminology for terminology's sake.
I believe Kanye West always have, always will, and based on my own literal experience in politics, I have been threatened. My livelihood has been threatened, and I have been gang stalked by Zionists throughout the court system and beyond.
Gang stalking. I did a whole presentation at the Hard Rock Hotel in Chicago about being gang stalked. The Israelite being gang stalked because I was the Israelite that's being gang stalked. See, all my politics and everything before I got into the Bambaataa stuff was already aligned with everything because I've always been who I've been. In the fact that I believe that I'm an Israelite and I believe I'm a Christian and I deal with Israel doctrine, my whole life is political. That's why I knew when I chose this, I was going to have to die for this. I was going to be on stage and somebody going to blow my head off. I was going to walk around the corner and somebody want to blow my head off because of my politics, my political views on things. And nobody wants to argue or debate with me about it because my political views tops their political views. I wish I had an audience to, get at to, but we'll see. Maybe in the future.
But I digress.
So that's what it is, people. We watched a little episode of Candace on. It's called Zionist History You Didn't Know. And I did not know about the Chicago ties to it all. I didn't run the manual. I didn't heard the name. Like I said, I didn't seen the man. I didn't met the man. But I didn't know that his father was who he was. Because in Chicago, in the political circles, you don't know who people are unless you in the political circles. But Hebrew Israelites, they got their own political circles, but they don't deal with the political circles. But me, myself, being an Israelite Christian, I've been in the political circles. And I going back to Chicago to get back in the political circles. And I'm going to be ready to do it the Chicago way. Do y'all know what the Chicago way is? Go watch the movie where they talking about Al Capone and the underground and stuff and all that. You know it. That's on the near north side of Chicago where I stay, right there with Cabrini. And I'm talking about the YMCA. Them buses always going through there telling you about that territory and stuff, because a little bit of Valentine Massacre. That's where they killed people, and murdered and did all that. Once again, I'm not from a gang. I've never been a part of a gang. I never dealt with that stuff, but I had to do my history because I understand everybody has that in their thing. So I appreciate anybody that watching it live or will be watching it later. Leave your comments, please. Let me know what you think. And this is my new thing. If y'all didn't know, I'll show y'all what it is so y'all can understand my position. I'll show y'all. I done created my playlist and everything for this already. It's a podcast. So let me show you my podcast. It's a podcast. It's a conversation that we'll be having daily. And there it is right there. Now, the significance of this guy, Stokely Carmichael, Khalil the Money was doing FBI informant on that guy. He was down in Nebraska, Oklahoma, or whatever that was. Whatever that was, the guy that I've been fighting with for the last 10 years on YouTube stalked that guy right there. So I feel honored to be stalked by the same man. People like, oh, you gonna make him famous. No, that guy's already famous. That guy gonna mess around and make me famous. Because I'm messing up his legacy, building my own legacy. So you got to destroy a legacy and then build a legacy. So I'm out. Peace. Love y'all.